Good evening and welcome to my presentation. I'm going to be talking to you all about the processes I went through in order to create my short film. So, the first stage I went through was idea generation and research. I began researching when I wrote my dissertation, which was based on gender and race, and I knew this needed to link to my short film. So the themes of gender, race and representation were key parts of my story. In the beginning, I was struggling to create an idea, so I decided to go through my research folder. I created a mind map based on the information I found, and I also included the possible themes, formats and technologies that my project could be. At first I thought I was going to make a print-based project, but I thought I'd challenge myself more and make a film by myself, because I'd never done this before. Once I'd finished the mind map, I'd developed a solid idea for my short film, which allowed me to move on the pre-production. I started pre-production by creating an equipment list, risk assessment, and then I moved on to things like storyboarding, shot listing and script writing, and so on. It was easy to find an actor for my short film because I knew someone that fitted the character well, and they'd also acted for me on a previous project, so I knew that they were reliable. It wasn't difficult to find locations either, because I'd been to places that were empty, which fitted my story. And I know I wouldn't have many disruptions in these areas as well. I also booked out the equipment early, so I knew I wouldn't have any trouble trying to get the equipment I needed. However, I still faced issues with my script writing, as my idea developed very slowly, and I knew I wasn't going to include any dialogue, so there wasn't much I could write about. Another weakness was the design of my treatment and proposal, because it took me a long time to improve the aesthetics. But I got there eventually, as you can see from the handout. Here you go. So once I got the pre-production out of the way and finished, I moved on to production. I started by filming the interior shots and audio first, and then moving on to the exterior. I faced a few issues which were mostly to do with the lighting, because the house I filmed in was quite dark, so when we moved rooms I had to keep changing the camera settings. I knew I'd still have to make adjustments in post-production with the brightness and contrast. And then another problem was that I couldn't use a tripod for every shot, which meant some of the footage was quite shaky and would also need adjusting. Although there are a few problems, there were some advantages. For example, the locations I shot in were very empty and quiet, so there weren't many disruptions. I also started the filming quite early, which meant I'd allowed myself enough time to film each shot more than once. And then, once that was finished, I started post-production. I started by creating an After Effects composition, which had my titles on, and then I linked this to my Premiere Pro project. And then I assembled all the footage and audio into a sequence and cut out any unwanted parts. Once I completed this, I started by adjusting the volume of my audio so it wasn't too loud or quiet. I then got extra sound effects from online, and I also spent a long time trying to find a song that fit my video well, but then I found one that fit perfectly, which was great. Once I finished the audio, I focused more on the aesthetics, which meant I was adjusting the brightness and contrast of the interior shots that were too dark and applying warp stabilizer to any shaky footage. This process went fairly well because I didn't need to find much audio online and the process didn't take that long. However, near the end my audio corrupted when I was about to export my video, so this delayed the whole completion of my project, but it was resolved by the help of my teacher. Overall, I did enjoy the making of my short film, but it did prove quite challenging at times. Thank you for listening. Does anyone have questions?
Yep.
Yep.
If there's anything you could go back and change about your original project, what would you change?
I'd probably make sure the weather was good, because some shots were just way too dark inside.
Cool. And did you have any problems getting the audio for when you were out filming?
I didn't think it went that badly, but when I looked at it afterwards, I couldn't work out what some of the sounds were, and they were just too quiet, but I could adjust volume, which was okay.
Cool.
Is that everything?
That's everything. Yeah.
Great, thanks for watching.